Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and we're going to go over the big collection featured card, which is the 2019 MVP 99 overall Mike Trout, center fielder for the Los Angeles Anaheim Angels of California, whatever their official city, state title is. But we're going to go over the 99 overall Mike Trout that came out as part of the big collection, what everyone was calling the Honus Wagner collection. We're going to give him a proper Chewie review, go in depth about the card, what I think about it, what I think whether or not you guys should complete the collection to get Mike Trout, at least at this point, whether he's worth it or not. Also, in a separate video, I'm going to go over how I would go about getting the MVP Mike Trout, because I think there's a right way to go about it, or what I think would be the most beneficial way to go about it. What I need you to do before we go over this Chewie review is hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell so you know whenever I'm uploading more videos, as well as comment down below what you guys think about this MVP 99 overall Mike Trout being the big collection for this year, essentially the Honus Wagner collection from the game last year. Do you think he deserved it? Do you think this is the card that deserves to be the big collection card? I mean, I really like Mike Trout. He's one of my favorite players. I've stated it more than once. I think he has one of the best swings in the game. I actually was using his live series for the longest time this season because I just hit very well with him. I'm batting over 400 with him in ranked seasons in any event you could use his card in. So essentially online play. So he was just mashing for me all year. So I am excited about the card personally. But you're going to have to watch a video to see what I think about whether or not he deserved to be the big collection. Mike Trout. So the featured card for the Honus Wagner, the big collection of this year's game, is a 99 overall MVP from 2019, Mike Trout. He's the center fielder for the Los Angeles Angels. He has the secondary positions of left field and right field. He's right-handed throwing, right-handed batting. He has diamond hitting and diamond defense. As everyone knows, Mike Trout is considered the best player in baseball today. He's a multiple MVP winner. This actually wasn't even his best MVP season, to be honest, last year. There's some other years where he had better individual seasons, but he didn't win the MVP last year in 2019, hence why he has the card. And he obviously won in the American League. That's where the Los Angeles Angels play in. Looking at his statistics from last year, he batted .291 with an on-base percentage of .438, which led the American League. He had a slugging percentage of .645, which also led the American League, and an OPS of 1.083, which led the American League. He had an OPS plus of 185. Wait for it, guys.
Another
also
one.
led the American League. And he had 45 home runs, 104 RBIs, and he had an 8.2 WAR. On top of winning the MVP, he was an All-Star and won the Silver Slugger in the outfield. So he had a very good season in real life. And it's no surprise. Mike Trout, if he continues his path in his career, he could go down as the best baseball player in history and a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think there's any denying that about how good of a player Mike Trout is in real life. Let's look at the attributes on the card real quick before we talk about whether or not I think he should have been the big collection and whether or not I think that you should go after this Mike Trout right now. He has 116 contact versus righty, 97 contact versus lefty, 125 power versus righty, 112 power versus lefty, 86 vision, 125 discipline, 108 clutch. In the field, he has 94 fielding, 89 arm strength, 90 arm accuracy, 93 reaction with 90 speed, 66 stealing, and 52 base running aggressiveness. So essentially, this Mike Trout is just a super duper souped up version of his live series card. He's faster. He plays the field a little bit better. He hits for way more power. He obviously hits right-handed pitching better than he hits left-handed pitching, which is what he does in real life too. But he still crushes left-handed pitching as well. And the vision's really not that high. Do I think his vision should be higher? Yes, I do. He had an on-base percentage of .438. Like, that's good. Does he strike out? Probably too much, yes. But that's because he's patient. Clearly, as you can see, he takes walks. He had less than 20 intentional base on balls last season. So it's not like he's taking a bunch of intentional base on balls. That's why his OBP's high. His OBP's high is because he's a patient hitter, which means he has good discipline and he does have good vision. I understand the vision is based off of how much the card strikes out, but the 86 vision does not do the man justice of how good his eyes are in real life when it comes to selecting pitches to hit, when it comes to walking. Even though I know the walking and pitch selection is more in the discipline, I would think that at some point they have to start to look at some of these cards and be like, well, his vision should be higher than what it is. Because even his live series cards, like in the 60s, which is ridiculous. He has one of the best eyes in the entire game of baseball. That's why he's so successful, let alone his natural power and his athleticism and all that other stuff. But the card itself is very impressive, especially from a power standpoint. You can prestige this card. So when you do prestige him, he probably becomes a top 2 outfielder. You could make an argument that Larry Walker prestige is like the left-handed version of this Mike Trout. The Larry Walker's a little bit better in some of his defensive attributes, but he doesn't do the same damage with the bat when it comes to hitting with power and stuff. But his vision's better. So your only real argument is Larry Walker, and I think the only true card that's better than this Mike Trout in the game is Mickey Mantle, if I'm being honest. And that's because Mickey Mantle's a switch hitter, another card you can prestige. And, well, they kind of have some similarities. Mickey Mantle's a live series collection card. This Mike Trout is like the big Honus Wagner collection. So it makes sense that those are like the 2 top cards in the outfield in the game right now. Let's look at his quirks real quick. His quirks are hitting machine, bomber, 20/20 vision, walker, soft hands, quick reflexes, sniper, speedster, and pressure cooker. So he has all of the necessary quirks to be amazing in the outfield. The hitting machine, bomber, walker, the big quirks that I like for hitting. The soft hands, quick reflexes, sniper, speedster. These are all things you want for your outfielder. He doesn't have cannon, which is kind of disappointing from an arm strength standpoint, but honestly, like I said, Mickey Mantle's better than he is, so I'd probably keep Mickey Mantle in center field if you have Mickey Mantle, and put this Trout in left field, and have the Walker in right field if you have Larry Walker. If you don't have Larry Walker, put Reggie Jackson out there in right field, or a different guy that's a good defensive option in right field. I am sure they'll come out with another defensive stud. My personal opinion of who you should put in left or right field will be Al Kaline. I think Al Kaline in right field with his super duper arm is amazing, and that's just my personal opinion. So looking at the attributes and what it takes to get this Mike Trout, I don't know if he's worth the effort it takes to get him right now. It really depends on what you have to do the collections, right? Which I'm going to do a video about this that'll come out tomorrow that's going to go over how I would go about getting it and what you need to do to collect this Mike Trout. Now, it does take a little bit. It's going to take some stubs. For the price of this Mike Trout is stub-wise and effort-wise and trying to gather everything together, I think he is worth it from a card's perspective. But if you're going to spend all the stubs and you don't have Mickey Mantle already, I would get the Mickey Mantle first before I got Mike Trout. And because of that, I'm going to give this Mike Trout 4.5 Chewies for his Chewie rating. But it's not because the card isn't a 5 Chewie card. This card, like I said, is the second best outfielder in the game. And for the lifespan of this game, he's going to be a top 5 outfielder. I mean, there can be some arguments here and there, but he's going to be top 5 no matter what. So he's an endgame card. He is the definition of what an endgame card is. You prestige him, he has 89 vision, and that's more than enough vision with 100 plus contact to have a good PCI, even on Legend. And he has all the other attributes you need to be a good card in this game, because home runs wins games. You don't need a bunch of contact guys. This guy can slot 3, 4, 5 in your lineup and absolutely mash. Or you can even bat him second like he bats in real life, because he does have enough speed to be the 2-hitter. I really like this Mike Trout card. I think it's an amazing card. I'm just going with 4.5 Chewies, because I think if you're going to spend what would probably be 300,000 to 400,000 stubs if you don't just have stuff sitting in your inventory that you haven't sold, or you haven't done like the team affinity things, and you have to do a bunch of exchanges to get to the future stars part of the collection, or even the face of the franchise parts of the collection. Like, it's just going to be a lot of stubs that you need to accumulate to get this Mike Trout. Now, a lot of this stuff can be for free, but it's also time consuming, so either the time investment or the stub investment is a lot, and I would get Mantle before I got Trout. That's where we're sitting at with 4.5 Chewies. The card itself, I'm just going based off of card attributes, and you could get this Mike Trout in like a pack, or you could get him by just like playing a lot and he was a for free card. 100% 5 Chewies. I mean, it's no doubter. He's one of the best cards in the game and will be one of the best outfielders for the entire season. Guys, that's going to wrap up the true review of this Mike Trout. Essentially what I'm getting at is, if you don't have a bunch of stubs and you don't have Mickey Mantle yet, don't go and get this Mike Trout. If you have a lot of stubs and you want to go get this Mike Trout, go and get him. He's a game-ending card. He's going to be one of the best outfielders in the game. I'm going to compile a video that'll be out tomorrow that will go over how I would best go about budget-wise trying to get this Mike Trout. Now, budget-wise, you're not going to get him like tomorrow or the day after. But I kind of have an idea how you can get this Mike Trout for probably 200,000 stubs, maybe less depending on what your pack luck is and how good you are at showdowns and whatnot. But I kind of have a strategy laid out in my head about how I would go about it personally and how I'm going to actually go about it personally. I'll probably have this Mike Trout in the next 2 weeks or so, but I'm not going to have him like tomorrow. Even though, as you can see, I have a lot of stubs compared to what I normally have. I'm not going to just go blow through all my stubs to get this Mike Trout. That's just my personal opinion of what this big collection Mike Trout is. Also, I think he's kind of disappointing compared to the Honus Wagner collection last year. Like, the Honus Wagner was like a brand new legend. He was a shortstop, but he could play all over the field. Like, the fact that Mike Trout's just an outfielder and outfield is always deep in this game, it's a little bit disappointing. Now, for me personally, I do enjoy watching him play baseball in real life. So the fact that he is a card in the game and it's a card that I play well with, I'm excited about that. But I don't think he should have been the collection player. I think it should have been like someone like Ken Griffey, or even if they had the rights to like a Roberto Clemente or somebody like that was a legend. If you're going to go with an outfielder, like having Roberto Clemente would have been nasty if they have his rights. I don't know if they have his rights or not. And that's just not being a Pirates fan. That's just because he's one of the best baseball players to ever play the game. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Mike Trout being the big collection card and what you think about the card itself, if it's really worth it or if it's not worth it. You guys have a great day and be safe.